Ray's Sports and Slams is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back. We are back at it again. Ray's Sports and Slams. Ready to start another Monday proper with nothing but heat and fire. Be sure to follow the podcast on Boink Studios YouTube, where you'll find plenty of shows reviewing everything from movies to music to video games, books, a lot more. We've got content dating back all the way to 2014. There's no paywall. Obviously, please give us a follow. Give us a visit to the website, boinkstudios.com. Plenty to talk about today, folks. Lots to talk about in the NBA. Lots to talk about in baseball and the NFL. Let me bring my two amigos back from Houston, back from his little trip. The number one Wemby hater, Mack Garvin. What's up, sir?
What's up, America? I'm back. So I just want to say, please like, share to Boink Studios. I was gone 1 week, definitely tuned in America, but I'm happy to be with you all again today. So we are excited for today.
And also back in the saddle again, the man that said Michigan was going to do something, and he was actually right. So I have to give him his props. Shout out to Walter Duncan. What's up, my friend?
Hey, I finally got something right, man. Glad to be here. Got to be back with my fellas and with these listeners. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Lots to talk about. Say a quick hello to some people. Saucy Mama says, what's up? How about those Cougars? Jeffrey Peter, what's up, my friend? And Timmy Gonzalez, what's up? Sad day for me. Both women's and band basketball teams lost. He must be a Duke fan. I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
That's a little rough, dude. That's a little rough. I feel bad for you, too. All right. We're going to get into the number one topic of the day, and that is Mr. Hubert Davis was fired. Great North Carolina coach. He was a coach and got fired after posting 125, 154 record. Of course, 5 seasons. Despite a 2022 national championship game appearance, 2 consecutive early tournament exits, and a 19-24 record against top 25 teams led to the decision, which includes a buyout. And, you know, these things happen in these big market teams. There was a stunning 82-78 overtime victory to VCU in the first round of 2026, following a season where they lost 3 straight games.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you know, and we said this all fair, you are coaching a dynasty team. Your bar is set at a certain level at that point. You have to produce. You cannot have a losing record and can't be bounced out of the tournament 2 consecutive years in a row. A lot of people are barking that he shouldn't have gotten fired. My opinion is this: as good of a coach as he is, and as good of a guy he is, you know, you're coaching who you're coaching, and you got to expect that the bar, like I said, is much higher. So I feel like, you know, it was justified, dude. You can't have the boosters, you know, happy that this guy's led the team to 2 early exits. You know, this isn't Appalachian State. This isn't High Point. North Carolina, dude, you got to win. You have to win. So at the end of the day, you know, I'm sure he'll find work. He's a great coach. I think he'll make it somewhere. But, you know, I think the firing was justified. I'll go to Mack first. Do you think that the firing was justified? Do you think he'll find work relatively quickly? And just in essence, what do you think of this whole thing?
You know, I'm going to piggyback with Ray briefly on what he said. You know, first things first, the man was there 5 years. This is not like it was 2 seasons and out the door. 2022, made it to the finals. Good for you. This is Tar Heels. This is where Michael Jordan laid the legacy and the foundation. He had a movie called Air that talked about his time when he was with the Tar Heels. You cannot have early, and then the fact of it was what? Correct me if I'm wrong. First or second round, gentlemen? First round?
Round 64.
64.
64?
First round.
Yeah. First round. Come on, man. Like, brother, like you're at a legacy school that is known for basketball. They have a football program too. But when you think of the Tar Heels, you think of basketball. It's like the same thing like Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got a hockey team. Notre Dame has got a lacrosse team. But we all know Notre Dame for one sport only, which is 100% defined as football. So this is one of the things where the early exit, nah, bro, you can't keep your job. No. And if he doesn't understand that, he knows he's at a program where you have to produce. We need results. We need boosters to want to pay this money to this school to keep our program thriving. You can't have this early exit. And I shouldn't say he got what he deserved. It just, what was I surprised? No. I would have been surprised if they'd have kept it. I'm like, ooh, 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
All right, Walt, what you got, bro?
Man, look, we're a trio here. We're agreeing. We're all on one accord in unison here. But like, I think that, you know, it was definitely justified. You know, North Carolina is one of those storied schools, right? They're used to winning. I think they have one of the greatest winning coaches. I forget his name that used to coach there before.
With the gray hair.
Yeah. He's one of the winningest coaches in all of college, I think, you know.
I know you're talking about Jordan's coach.
Yeah. And so, like, look, he started out great in 2021. They were a national championship runner-up. And then they were ranked number 1 going into the 2022
Dean something,
season.
Right?
Yeah, Dean Smith.
Yeah, Dean Smith.
So they were ranked number 1 going into the 2022-2023 season just to miss the tournament. And then in 2023-2024, they made it to the Sweet 16. And then they got knocked out these last 2 seasons in the round of 64. So North Carolina wants to win, right? They're used to winning, right? And so I think that, you know, it is definitely part of the reason why they let him go. Even though he had a great winning percentage, it was almost 70%, right? So like he had a great winning percentage. He just didn't win enough for them.
I agree. All right. My other question to you is, if he had coached for a smaller market school, do you think he would still be there? And my other question again is, do you think he'll find work relatively quickly? I'm going to say, in my opinion, he should go to he could stay in a big school, but just know the pressure's there. You know, if you're going to go to a big name school again, if you're going to go to, you know, a Texas and Arizona, one of these top tier schools, Michigan, Arkansas. Yeah, you better be ready to do it. If you're looking for a little rope where, you know, you can have a couple of losing seasons, you got to go to a second tier school, not a Division I school, maybe Division II, or a Division I school that just turned Division I maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But, you know, I think, like I said, it depends on what moves he makes, what his agent decides to put him in that situation. But Walt, I'll let you kick that off first. You know, what do you think, if you were his agent or his manager or was his friend, where would you guide him, and what do you think his next step should be?
Hubert Davis, sorry. He should find a job fairly quickly. Who knows what's going to happen after the season and during the off season? Like, we may see some coaches turned over. So there might be other opportunities at some schools that he may have a chance to go to and coach them up and win. Again, this guy he knows how to coach. He knows how to coach. He knows how to win. He just doesn't know how to win like on the big stage, right? And so I think he'll find relative success getting a coaching gig. I think it's just not going to be at one of those power schools, right? You know, look, somebody may believe in him. Somebody may give him a shot. I just don't know if they're going to do it right now unless they're certain that this is the guy that's going to take them to the promised land.
Agreed. All right, Mack, I'll let you end this conversation.
You know, that's the promised land. You know, this one deals where he's going to get hired. He absolutely will. It's not like Hubert, like he has a track record of success. It's just that the challenge, I think, that all coaches face is recruiting. UConn right now, if you want to win, you come see them. They're the champs back to back. Are they going to have great opportunity? Duke walked into a great situation, got the Boozer boys, you know, both of them. And it might have been a stipulation for them. You know, if you take one, you got to take both. I don't know if that was the case. But the fact that, you know, it comes down to recruiting. North Carolina has the historic history. Dean Smith set the bar that everyone else needs to reach. And I do believe he'll get a shot again. It's just, whether it be, I mean, why not women's basketball? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have opportunity. There's other places he can go besides competing in the men's circuit. But, you know, he's going to get hired somewhere else. Absolutely.
I agree. All right. Speaking of Final Four, we have our 4 teams lined up.
Woo!
Yes, the men's Final Four is Indianapolis. Number 2, UConn. Illinois, number 3. Arizona, number 1. And Michigan, number 1. The semifinal match, UConn against Illinois. Arizona and Michigan, featuring a mix of offensive and elite defenses, dude. This is going to be a crazy series. Terrace Reed has been on fire. Braden Mullins has been on fire. Arizona is won by double, triple digits. They have that guy Tobe. And I know that, Michigan's got that lanky giant center. It's going to be an interesting matchups. I will say, in my opinion, I think it's going to come down to, defense. I think defense wins games. I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to say that Michigan will lose to Arizona in the next round. And they will be playing UConn in the championship game. The fat lady singing, I'm sorry, Walt. You ran into a brick wall, and it's called Arizona. You enjoyed this run. I gave you your receipts. I gave you your respect. I threw your love. But party's over. What you got, Walt?
Look, you very well may be correct. I'm not sure who's going to win, right? Michigan's not my team, right? My team got beat by, I think Purdue beat them. Florida, got beat by somebody, right? Or Iowa, somebody, whoever beat Florida, kudos to you. But like Michigan, I think whoever wins this game between Michigan and Arizona, that is going to be our national champ. That's what I have to say. Like, I think that UConn and Illinois, they have great stories and stuff. UConn is gonna, it's a great school. They've been in, recent Final Fours. They just won a championship, recently as well. And so I think that the winner of the Michigan-Arizona game is going to be the one hosting the trophy when it's all said and done. Out of UConn and Illinois, I'm not sure there, right? They're both pretty good teams. Duke did have UConn on the ropes, and I think Duke just got comfortable and let their foot off the gas because Duke was killing them. They were killing them, and especially in the first half, and then they took their foot off their throats, right? So, if Illinois comes out and like shoots lights out, then it'll be them in the finals. But I think no matter what transpires there, it's going to be between the winner of Michigan and Arizona, and that team, whoever that is going to be hoisting the trophy at the end of the day.
No, I have to applaud that take. All right, Mac, what you got?
Mac doesn't agree.
I see a big disagreement.
Yeah, here it comes. I don't know what Walt was watching or drinking to think that Michigan or okay, all right. Michigan, Arizona. I hear you. Someone has to win the game. Did you not watch the UConn and Duke game?
Absolutely.
I don't think on any level Illinois has a shot in blue AT double hockey sticks of winning this game. That is called determination and will. They played from behind the whole game. Made the surge under 10 into 5 to 3 to 1 minute. And we all watched it. America was dazzled on the beach. I was like, oh my God. I was stunned. I didn't think they had a shot. I'm like, Duke came out on four. Like the first quarter, we're like 7 minutes in, it's like 44-23. I'm like, what's going on with UConn? And, Mr. Hurley settled them down. Went in at halftime, was like, we're either going to win or we're going home. What are y'all going to do? And they turned it around. UConn has the momentum. We all know, just like in football, when you come out of halftime, like you score going right into halftime, and you just drove and come from behind and then come into the third quarter and score, come out the bat the third quarter, the momentum on the other team wanes. And I'm sure, 100% sure, Mr. Hurley's like, do we want 3 or not? Who in the room wants 3? Who wants history? And whatever reason why, he can have that conversation. We've been here before. We just went through it. Everyone stay calm, relax. We got this. So I think that UConn's going to win hands down. Listen, Illinois is going to put up a fight. They're number 3 for a reason. UConn's number 2. But the UConn already knows and Illinois knows, bro, unless we come out early, they have it. They have that extra that other teams don't because of how the game was won. Walt and Jim Ray are absolutely ridiculous to think that UConn's not going to win. And you heard it here today, America. Write it down. UConn's winning the chip.
Okay. First, before I rebuttal this, let me share some comments. Jeff Peter, why is the championship game on CBS instead of TBS so everyone can watch it? That's a good point. I don't know. It should be on CBS. That's ridiculous. I agree. I know they rotate every year, but you have a valid argument. And Timmy says, guys, we look all fine. Always have big guys. Yes, but Arizona has the big guy. All right, Mac, I'm going to say this first. I know you're probably jet lagged and maybe, you're still Houston oriented. If you've watched Arizona, like my man Walt is, you've seen dominance. That team hasn't looked bad once. Arizona has stomped a mud hole and walked it dry in every team they faced. They haven't looked like they're about to lose a little bit. Like, they look like they just like a robot. That team is stacked and decked and ready to play. They have, if you're playing spades, they have 8 and a possible.
But so was Duke, Ray.
You can't even compare. You're comparing apples and oranges. You're not even apples. This is apples and a piece of steak. Dude, Arizona is legit. I have to side with Walt on this, dude. The winner of that game is going to win the whole thing. But you know what? Like I said, you're back from Houston. You're probably, like I said, still a little jet lag. TSA was probably getting you a hard time. So
it was 2.5 hours.
Yes, I can imagine. Yeah. So I feel bad. Well, should we give him a pass this week?
No, don't give him a pass.
Write it down, America.
All right, look. All right, well, go bring it.
Look,
to the finals. I think Michigan is going to win also too. I mean, it's not the Fab Five freshmen. I mean, we'll never see that again. America, look it up who the Fab Five was in case you don't know. Max Facts. Take a look. Let me know what year the Fab Five was. For Michigan, good for them. They made it, but Michigan knows they don't have a shot either. So, yeah.
Look, all I say is this: Illinois, they have beaten some good teams. I'm just like UConn has. I think Duke was the overall number one team in the tournament. So kudos to UConn. No shade to them. But Illinois is not going to be an easy out, and Illinois is going to come to play. Illinois just beat Houston the round before, which was number 2 seed. And Houston was a pretty good team, right? And so I think that UConn, they can ride the high and all this other stuff, but Illinois is a good team as well. So just go in and make sure you're sober-minded and drunk on that win over you go in there if you want to playing around, and then next thing you know, Illinois sneaks one out, and then you're like, boo-boo the clown fool. So
exactly. Exactly. You want to be boo-doo fool.
I'll eat crow next week if necessary.
We have a new guest, BGG75. That game last night was crazy. Hashtag jet lag. That's right, Maggie, talking about you. You have jet lag. You know what? I have to applaud that. Yeah. That's right. Jet lag, Mac. It's okay. We all have these moments. So you will see. All right, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about the 2 NBA expansion teams. Yes, folks, the NBA has expanded to 2 new teams. The NBA's Board of Governors officially authorized the league as of March 25th to explore expansion franchises in Seattle and Las Vegas with a target to begin in 28-29. These 2 cities are the top 2 candidates with potential expansion to 32 teams, with Seattle favored to revive the Supersonics and Las Vegas seen as a premier sports market. I'm all for it. I don't know how the drafting's going to go. I don't know if they're going to get, all these scrubs to begin with, or they're entitled to first-round draft picks. I don't know all that process. So we'll see how that goes. But you know what? If you put one team in the East, one in the West, you want to put Seattle in the West and I guess or you have to put Vegas in the West, and then I guess maybe Seattle in the East. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm for it. I think it's good for the game. So there'll be other teams that'll be the bottom feeders now. Are you for this or against this, Mac?
So I'm kind of on the fence. Like for first and foremost, I have love for Seattle. Okay, America. Just so you all know, that's my hometown. Washington State, raised there as a kid, 10 formative years. The Seattle Supersonics. I went to games with my dad as a little dude. And full disclosure, America, my son's name, Xavier, is named after one of the great men on the basketball squad, their God, Xavier McDaniels. So that's why my son's name is Xavier, the X-Man. He was the X Factor. And Sean Kemp, Mr. Rain Man. Like, I have love. When the franchise left, my first question is why? I understand if you don't win, but like the Sacramento Kings are another team that's not winning. So I couldn't understand why the franchise was folded. It is what it is. However, what I do know is with Vegas, they've got football, they've got baseball, basketball. No. They don't have baseball. They have football, hockey, and now basketball is coming. They're going to get all four. They've got nothing but room and space to grow out in Vegas. If you've ever been there, it's all desert land. So they have the opportunity, and they will get another franchise. So Vegas, they're getting their team. So I think it's a good idea. My concern is this. Technically, Seattle would not be expansion. They would just fold it and back again. I know there's politics when it gets involved. If they'll rebrand with the same name again, I think they will make a push for it. So I don't know. I'm happy, but there's other issues in the league that they need to address that they know is more detrimental. So it doesn't happen to these expansion teams with this issue of tanking unofficially, as we know exists in the WNBA. That's my concern of all this with these expansion teams.
Okay. Walt, what
Look,
you got, bro?
I'm all for this. I think it's great for the league. I think it's going to be great for those cities. I loved watching the Seattle Supersonics play. Like they had Gary Payton the glove. They had all those players, like on there, like that we could list right now that were great for the city, right? I've been to Seattle. I worked there a couple of years ago when I worked for FEMA. It's a great city. People take great pride in their sports there, just like any other fans do. So I think they're going to show out when the Supersonics come back. I think it's going to be great for Vegas. I think, again, this is going to another great sports town. It's a great market for them. I guess I have to share Mack's sentiment. I don't know how those teams are going to fill out those rosters. How are you gonna bring marquee players there unless you look, they're gonna have a free a blank check, right? To like, hey, come to Seattle, you'll be the guy. Come to Las Vegas, you'll be the guy. You'll be the person out here. You'll be the face of the franchise. So you might get some players to come out there, especially with a lot of this new talent getting ready to come out. So you may see a lot of talented youngsters, go to these new expansion teams in the next couple of years and be off and running to the races, right? So I'm all for it. I'm excited. I don't know how the team is gonna, adjust everything. Are they gonna move a team that's in Central? Maybe they'll move Dallas to East, since it's Central time, and have those two teams over in the West. Who knows? I think they have to work on the logistics of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thoughts. I think it's good. I agree with the Seattle thing. So, with three of us are in sync. I don't know if you're technically calling Seattle an expansion team because they were existing before. Some great players, great teams. So, I think for the guys who don't get shine now on a team, and they're actually pretty decent, but they're not getting the shine because they're on a team with SGA. They're on a team with Luka. They're on a team with Joker. Come to Seattle, come to Las Vegas. You could be that guy. You could get the shine. You could get extra minutes that you're not getting now because you're being behind these other people. So we shall see. You know what I mean? I feel like it'll be a big draw to those guys. The guys that are right on that all-star lineup, like right on the cusp of all-starness, and they just can't get there because they're not getting enough playing time because they're playing behind people like the ones I had mentioned. Mm-hmm. So, we shall see. Eric says, bring back the Supersonics. Rich history of players. I'd be happy for the fan base there. 79 champions. Gary Payton.
Yeah.
And Chris
Absolutely.
Patton's in the house. Chris, host of Bachman's Basement, host of the Patton Report. And he's going to be on our show soon. Chris, I don't want to hear no. You got to be on our show soon because you are Mr. Basketball, so I definitely want you on.
Yeah.
And my captain, Tom Clark's Detlef Schrempf. Yes. Great 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember him. I remember. Oh,
Hey,
he
our
said,
friend-
all right, I'm holding you to the fire, Chris. You're coming on our show. He's a basketball ringer.
Nice.
Dude,
Just so you know, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ray.
He pretended he don't know hoop, and dude, he was rounding off stats. I'm like, such a ringer. But I love him though. All right, we're switching to football, and oh boy, back again in the news, Mr. AJ Brown. Yes, the big baby. Despite persistent trade rumors, reports suggesting he provides a list of 4 potential trade destinations, including the Patriots and the Chiefs. While straight speculation continues, the Eagles have not yet moved him, and they have to wait until June 1st to act. My question to you guys is this. Do you see him getting traded? I say yes, because it's been bought up way too much. He's been too boisterous about being traded. He's actually mentioning teams now, like I said, like Kansas City, like New England. Dude, like, enough's enough. It's like, I have much love for both you guys. If you are just complaining left and right to other platforms that this show is terrible and I hate being here, yada, 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 dude, it's like we got to part ways. At the end of the day, it is what it is. And I feel like with A.J. Brown, he's been bashing the Eagles, bashing Jalen Hurts, which I get because Hurts does hurt. Watching him play, it hurts. But, you know, he's being too much of a prima donna. Got to go. Like, he's got to go. I think if you keep him there, you're ruining the locker room. You know, if he was a little quiet about it and he was a little reserved about it, maybe. But the fact that he's been so boisterous about this, how he wants to be out of there, he wants to leave. Dude, like I said, like my daughter's old favorite show, Frozen, let it go, let it go. All right, Mack, I got you on the laughy laugh. What you got?
Well, let him go. Let him go. You know what I
Sing
mean?
it, man. Sing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So just real quick, our previous commenter who made the comment about jet lag, that's my good friend and new co-worker, CJ. So shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you chiming in. So to this topic, America, we talked about this talk possibly with him 4 episodes ago to be exact. So take a listen. So here's the bottom line. I made the comment then, and I'll say it again. Howie Roseman is a genius with numbers for the Philadelphia Eagles. That GM knows how to orchestrate and make moves. We all know, or should know, when you are, and again, it happened on national TV, when you are arguing with your head coach and it is a visible argument, it just so happened the cameras caught it. Just like we're talking about the Patriots, they're a team, their coach has experience with AJ, good for you. But when you see players make boisterous comments, it's the same thing that happened with Buffalo. Their number 1 wide receiver happens to be their wide receiver on the Pats right now, made some gestures to their quarterback on the sideline, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, it was visible to see it. He's having this debate with Josh Allen. What happened? He was gone the next season. Diggs was gone. That's what I'm talking about, America.
You know what? I have to applaud that.
Yeah. It made national TV, and that's why he's gone. He's gone.
All right, Walt, what you got, my friend?
So a couple of things, right? I think that, you know, the Eagles, you know, they're playing, you know, their hand close to them. And, you know, Howie Roseman put out a statement the other day saying, like, A.J. Brown is a member of the Eagles. And he was speaking, you know, in present tense. He didn't say he won't be. But I think when they do that, they're just trying to, it's for political views, right? It's just to say, hey, like, we're going to keep this thing in-house. We're not going to do what A.J. Brown is doing. Because think about this. I'll put it to you this way. If you're in a relationship and, you know, your profile says married or in a relationship, but your girl is out there wilding out, and saying all manner of stuff or whatever, then you're gonna feel some type of way, right? You may not say it, but absolutely the Eagles feel some type of way by what AJ Brown is doing. So I absolutely think that he'll be a post June 1 trade to another team. He's definitely not going to get traded to where he wants to go.
No.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to send him to the team that gives him the best compensation for his services and that bigs them up in the future drafts, right? So AJ Brown absolutely is gone. There's no way to save this relationship. I understand about arguing player, coach, and stuff like that, but that happens in sports, right? We've seen Travis Kelce do that with his coach, in KC. They argue, and then they're just like, hey, that happens in football. We're family, right? AJ Brown has broken the trust with the Eagles, and he wants to get out of there. And even though they're playing it cool right now, I know the Eagles want him out of there, so he's gone, just like Mack said.
All right, my question to you, and Mack brought up a really, really good point. Do you think, because he was so boisterous with their love, Jalen Hurts, that they may be the ultimate factor? Because I know with the coaches, sometimes they kind of let it go. It's a coach-player type of thing. But they love them some Jalen Hurts. And I feel like just like Josh Allen got into a fight with their golden wide receiver, Mr. Diggs is digging himself on another team. So I feel like Mack may be onto something, dude. I feel like, you can't scream or give the golden boy a lot of grief on national TV in front of the world. If he would have pulled him to the side in the locker room in a closed off conversation, maybe that's different. But the fact that he blew up at him on the air on national TV, it wasn't a Philadelphia game. I believe it was on Fox 5. So I remember the game. I think Mack's got a point too. I feel like that may not be the ultimate reason, but it's definitely a big, big factor. Would you agree, Walt?
That Jalen Hurts is the golden boy of the Eagles?
No, that may be part of why AJ Brown will be gone.
Absolutely. That could definitely factor in, especially when you have Jalen Hurts who just wants to win, who just wants to succeed for his team, who takes ownership of everything the way that he does. He owns it, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, he's steady Eddie when it comes to that team. And then you have AJ Brown, saying all manner of stuff, about him, and leaking stuff to the press. Then of course it factors in. Absolutely.
Okay, Mack.
Yeah, 100%. I'll give you another example with the same team. Donovan McNabb, T.O. We saw it on national TV live. He's walking up and down the sideline. T.O.'s right behind him, chirping in his ear. He's got his hand on him. He walks back over, and of course, they zoomed in on that, and he was gone the following season. He went to Dallas. I think he was with Dallas for, 2 seasons? Yeah. Jerry Jones is like, we've had enough of you two, out the door. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. And, and it's unfortunate, too, because I understand its competitive nature. I want the ball. So does the tight end. So does the running back. Like, you know what I mean? There's only one rock.
You're on fire.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone can't have. We call plays for a reason. Then be open. And the fact that when he complained, they threw him the ball and he was missing them, bro, in the breadbasket numbers. And the excuse was, well, there's enough time to go around. Oh, but when you just complained you weren't getting the ball and we're throwing you the ball and you're missing catchable balls, not like 5 feet above his head. No, catchable balls and in your numbers, and you turn into Butterfingers. Like, no, then shut up. We don't want to hear from you no more.
Yeah, it is what it is, dude. I agree. Mm-hmm. Let's read some comments. Timmy says, no, Timmy, no, do not send him to the Cowboys. That's horrible. I boo that one right now. You know what? That has to get a boo because problems. I don't want him on my team. That's a hard pass. That's not even an option. No to the no to the no to the no. And Chris Patton says, are the Eagles going to eat some money if the contract doesn't seem easy to get rid of? I think in his situation, if he gets traded, and you guys can check this out, I believe the other team would have to pay some of that salary. I don't think the Eagles are going to eat the whole contract. Am I wrong, Walt? You're the math guy.
It depends on what language is in there, right? So yeah, the Eagles want them to pay some of that cash considerations, they can definitely do that. If they're okay just taking draft compensation, it's all about the verbiage that goes into the deal with the trade. If they indeed trade him.
That's my quarterback, man. That's hysterical. That's when my man Tio was crying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah,
We're moving
he sure
gears,
was.
and we're talking about Mack's favorite guy, OBJ. So what about
my
OBJ?
God.
Yes, OBJ is trying to make a run and going back on the G-Men. As of 2026, there's a mutual interest surrounding the potential free agent, Odell Beckham Jr., 33 years old. In football years, correct me, Walt, and you're the math guy, that's, 75 in football years?
Yeah.
After not playing the whole 2025-26 season, following a stay with the Miami Dolphins, he's reportedly looking healthy and training, trying to make a comeback, looking sharp in flag football, which is not football, but he calls it football. And they're using this as a barometer of his ability to play because, he can run and not get tackled and, people are half trying to pull a flag down. Is there any shot OBJ gets on the Giants squad and makes that team? I'm going to let Matt go first because I know he's Mr. Giants. I know he's got a lot to say, so go ahead.
Listen, the man made a fashion statement with the I guess if you want to call it the streak in the middle of his head, the squirrel streak in the middle, no, skunk streak in the middle of his head, a thing. Like the guy became this icon of the sport, and he was amazing. When he left our team, I could not understand why we were letting him go. He was the only one that was scoring touchdowns and making points, and ownership had an issue with his behavior on the field. So what? He scored. He was doing it in the end zone where it mattered. When he left us, I said, who are you going to get replace OBJ? And they really didn't have a great answer since he's been gone. Period. I'm sorry, our guy right now. Malik, that he's been the next guy that's been the it guy. Ever since he left, we have had dudes on the roster that are wide receivers, but, trying to make a name for themselves. So am I happy? The only thing I could see, this could be a feel-good moment and let him retire a Giant. Is he going to be productive? The man won a chip with the Rams. Good for him. I mean, he didn't play in the Super Bowl, but he played during their season. So I think it's a feel-good story. I mean, I've still got his jersey. I'd wear it again.
Yeah. I have his jersey too. I use it to buff my car when it's dirty.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what do you got, my friend?
Look, I think absolutely OBJ has a shot to make this team, right? I think he understands where he's at in his career. I think he's in the twilight of that, and he wants to come back, to play a season or two with the team that drafted him, right? The team that he put on the map. He put him on the map as well. Besides Malik Neighbors, could you name me any other receivers that are on that roster right now?
No.
Right. So they signed Darnell Mooney from the Falcons and Calvin Austin III from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But those guys, they're serviceable. But you look, if you have a chance to get OBJ and you kind of like, restrict or limit his minutes, he may get you some yards. You know what I'm saying? And I think he understands where he's at as well. I think give him a shot. Doesn't guarantee that he's going to make it. Doesn't guarantee that his body's going to hold up as well. I know somebody say, instead of Odell Beckham Jr., they call him Odell Bad Joints, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Ouch.
Oh,
OBJ. So we'll see what happens.
All right,
I say give him a shot. Yeah.
Let me ask you one more question, Walt. I'll let you rebound on this one.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh was like, I like what I saw in his flag football. When did flag football become the barometer for playing on a team? I'm great at 2K. I don't think I could play in the NBA right now. So when did flag football become the benchmark for trying to play in the NFL? I know back in college, Mack was really good at flag football. I don't see him with a jersey playing in the NFL either. I remember he was really good. We had some flag football scrimmages in college. He was good. I don't see a jersey. I don't see him in a Giants uniform. I don't understand When did that become a benchmark?
Look,
And this is Jim Harbaugh saying this, so this blew my mind. I was like,
look,
what?
I think in order for him to make that catch that he made, it still took some great athleticism. He still had to make the catch one-handed over two guys that were leaping just with him as well. So that was still a great catch, right, that he made. So I think that is kind of, if anything that he saw, he was like, oh, this guy still has, some springs in his leg. This guy still has the capability to make a play like this, because how many times have you seen OBJ do this in the end zone during his career? Right? So maybe that kind of like took him back a little bit and say, hey, he may still have a little bit in the tank.
Okay, Mac, I know you're in this.
All right. So listen, here's the one thing I can say, and the thing I'm going to make is going to be this. Harbaugh saw something that he still can do that most can't. So, it's what's the word I want to use? It's because he can still do some things that some players can, could be why, but on the same token, you're right. The bottom line is this, can you do that during a regular season, or for that matter, with three guys guarding you, or for that matter, are you going to brace for this hit when you come out the sky for making an amazing catch? So that's the concern, so I get it. It's one of them deals where, can he do it consistently over a season, and will he avoid injury? So, you know what I mean? If he can, great. I just think it'll be a feel-good moment where it'll put fans in the seats. There'll be cats that'll come in the season, into the stadium with his jersey back on again. It's a win-win. They could sign him for league minimum. He'd still want to. Yeah. So.
All right. Eric Colon has a good one. OBJ, come on. I wouldn't waste my money on this dude. Move on from fantasy already. The Giants are one more than player away. And if they were, it would not be OBJ. No feel-good moment with the Giants. He is gone, done with this. You know what? I've given a couple of applauses today. I have to applaud that too. Oh, my. All right, we're switching to baseball and the ABS Challenge. For those who don't know what's going on, starting this season, Major League Baseball is implementing an automated ball strike challenge system. Human umpires remain behind the plate, but teams get two challenges per game to review calls using a 5G power tracking, keep the challenge if correct. The system quickly resolved disputes over a precise player's specific zone, with reviewing only lasting seconds. How the challenge works is the player, pitcher, catcher, or batter must immediately tap their helmet after the call. Each team starts with two, but receive additional ones in extra innings. Successful challenges are retained. If you're unsuccessful, you lose it. The 3D tracking is based on a 17-inch wide box and a specific held-based vertical challenge. Only you, the catcher, and the pitcher, the only players, can make this challenge. Umpires can deny challenges if they're not made in a timely manner. So I believe you have less than 5 seconds, so you can't wait 2-3 years to make this challenge. I am all for this. I feel like maybe the WBC had something to do with this because of that game against the USA and the Dominican Republic. I'm not saying that's 100% the reason, but now, needless to say, it keeps the game honest. It's going to be a tough road for umpires now because you got to be on your P's and Q's. I think umpire school is going to be a lot harder now. It's going to become harder than going to Harvard or Yale because you better be on point. I think if you miss a lot of calls, you could probably end up going to the minors and doing stints there. So it's going to cost a lot from that perspective. I know the umpires are barking that, it's taking away tradition. I feel, if the game is on the line, if there are 2 outs, you're down by a run, you got a guy at second and third, it's a 3-2 pitch, and you call it a strike to end the game, and it's not, and you now have the availability to challenge, let's go. I'm for it. I think it's a good thing. So, you know what? To the traditionalists of baseball, move on. You got to move on. Things change, dude. I used to have a VCR, and that's been in the garbage for a long time now. We move on from things. Well, I'll let you kick this off first. What do you think of this? Are you for it, against it? And what do you think it's going to do in the umpires?
I think it's going to highlight, for the umpires, it's going to highlight, how often they get stuff wrong. just from looking at it from a human eye standpoint. And so I think it'll do that for them, right? And again, it'll make it, like you said, in umpire school, it may make it a little bit more harder or stricter, on them to get those calls right, during regular games. And so I think it'll definitely change. We haven't seen it change any outcomes yet, but it definitely may change some outcomes in the future games and stuff like that. I'd like to see how this is going to play out once October comes around and, seasons are on the line and stuff like that. So I want to see that. But there is one thing that I read when I was reading the rules, guys, and it said that if there's a malfunction, that the original call will stand and the team will not lose its challenge. That's if the system cannot track a pitch. So I'm interested to see if that happens. How is that going to impact the team? If all of a sudden there's a glitch in the system, and a ball that should have really been a strike is called a ball, and the person walks, right, and it changes the outcome or impacts the game due to that malfunction. So I don't think it's going to be perfect. I think they'll have to, after this season, see how it goes and, do some tinkering in the offseason. But again, I'm all for it.
Okay. Before I go to you, Mack, I will say this. I've seen 2 calls be overturned and they were the right calls. So far, knock wood, they've been good. Okay. But, to your point, Walt, things could change. Mack, are you for this, against this? And again, my question to you is, what are you going to do with the umpires?
So my concern is going to be one big huge thing that right now Major League Baseball faces is the speed of the game. This will cause delay in the game. It won't be long, mind you, but it's the fact of we got to review and we're going to cut to them reviewing. They're going to take a look at it. And they're going to make a decision, I would imagine, under a minute, because it can't be this long conversation like we do with the NFL, where they review and we, as fans, we see it. Like, how can they not see he's in bounds? And then, of course, they come back and say he's out of bounds. It's like, are they looking at something different we're not seeing? Like, what do you mean? So my concern is going to be this. Are they going to show America what they're actually looking at if this is a question mark by the player? So that's my thing. Is it going to slow the game down? They're trying ways now to speed the game up to keep the audience watching a whole game. 9 innings is a long time. That's my only concern. Will it help teams? Absolutely. I had this question, America, off air. I thought this was going to be if a baseball hitter thinks he was wronged, will this be every guy up to bat? And then also, too, will the dugout figure out a way to communicate to pitcher or player to challenge or not? Will there be some? We know they have signals now, like this stuff and everything else that they do that the that the coaches do on the side of the field. So that's my concern.
All right, my rebut to that is you have, I think, like I said, less than 5 seconds to make this call. I believe it's 2 or 3 seconds to say, no, that was a ball. No, that was a strike if you're the pitcher. So I think it won't slow the game down too much. I just feel like if the ump is having a bad game, and to Chris Patton's post, it could be a really long night. If the ump is having a bad game and he's making a lot of bad calls, this game could be from 2 hours to 4 hours. So I understand what he's saying. However, now your job's going to be in jeopardy. If you keep making bad calls, how long are you going to stay as a Major League Baseball umpire? You're going to be sent down to AAA. So that's the other side of that coin. Walt, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think that's why they put those time limits in there. Like the player or catcher, the hitter, the catcher, or the pitcher have 5 seconds to initiate the challenge. And then the challenge itself is going to be a 15-second review. So it's not going to take 15-second review. So it's not going to take long to review it. Hopefully, unless there's a malfunction, because we haven't seen a malfunction yet. So we will see. Again, I think this is going to be tentative right now. We're going to see, and we're going to have to see if anything comes of it. Right now, like you said, Ray, everything's worked out so far. And the 2 times that I saw the highlights on SportsCenter earlier. And one of the the managers got upset because he said he didn't know exactly if the pitcher challenged or not. Because I think you have to tap your cap or tap your helmet to initiate that you want to challenge. And the pitcher kind of gestured that way, but the manager wasn't sure, so he came out and argued with the umpire. So we'll see.
Yeah. Which slows the game down.
Yep.
Yeah, it slows the game down, but at the end of the day, like, you're not going to get screwed. You know it's in the dirt. You know that's a ball, and the umpire's, obviously he's blind and missed it. Things happen. We're all human. So I think it's just going to make the game more honest. So we shall see, dude. Speaking of baseball, Bo Bichette is in the news. You're saying, why is Bo Bichette in the news? It took the 7th inning of his 3rd game back before he started getting some boos. The Mets, after losing 4-3, 10-inning loss, Bo Bichette has been 1 for 14 with 8 strikeouts and is receiving some boos. He's being very, very cool about this. He's saying, I would be booing myself. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do coming to New York. He's got to get his swing back. I know there's other players on the Mets that want his spot and they probably could take his spot. They signed him to a 3-year, $136 million contract. I like how he responded. He's not defending it. He's not saying, I'm having a bad. He's saying, hey, I'm just stinking right now. This is New York. This isn't Toronto. It's a different market. He's got to expect he's going to get heat. You got to produce in New York and LA. Those are 2 major markets, dude. You got to be on point. 1 for 14, 8 strikeouts is not a good start for him. I hope he gets his swing back. They're playing tonight against the Cardinals. We shall see. What do you think of his comments, Mac? Did you like how he responded? And do you think he'll snap out of this?
Well, first things first, he knew he had to. 3 years, 126 million reasons why he needs to respond. Okay? This is New York. This is not Toronto off on some cliff somewhere. No. Blue Jays loved him. I mean, listen, the Blue Jays signed him, all right? That's the team he got drafted to. But when you make a decision to leave for the money, and we even talked about this in the offseason too, of like, hey, Bo Bichette's leaving. Toronto's like, why would he leave? They love him there. Like, but he went for the money. 3 years, 126 mil. The Mets paid him. And I'm pretty sure, Ray, at the time, we also had this discussion 10 episodes ago. We're like, I don't know what the Mets are doing, bro. We're just letting everybody leave. And I'm like, they got to be doing something. They got to be cooking something, bro. I wish they'll tell me, because I'm tired. Like, and I got that. And they signed him. So he knew, PR said you got to make a comment. Maybe you didn't have to when you was at the Blue Jays, but here they will be booing. They will have signs saying Bo sucks. But like he has to know that when you come to New York, this market demands results, period. And so he's going to have to learn, if he was not a person who is good in front of the microphone, whether you're good or not, you're going to have to tell us something. They're not going to let you go unless you do. So I know for the fact he's going to have to figure this out. I hope he does not get the yips, brother, and that'll be the end of it'll be a bad deal, but he's got to get out of this slump, whatever you want to call it. He's going to have to. So
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Walt, what you got?
Like Aaron Rodgers was famous for saying, calm down. It's all right. It's only 3 games. You know what I'm saying? So give him some time to get some wind under himself and get into it. He did say that, it's the pressure of succeeding in such a big market like New York, because New York fans are going to let you know what I'm saying, if you're sucking or not, as we saw that with the boo birds, right? And so I think that, we have to understand he doesn't have the worst batting average. He's in the bottom 10, definitely. But Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle, what's the Seattle team?
Mariners.
Seattle Mariners. He has the worst batting average than Bo Bichette right now by a little bit. But I think there's still some guys that are gonna show out. I think in a couple of weeks and months, Bo's gonna turn it around, and this is just gonna be a story that we talked about at some point in the season.
And Jeffrey says, should they send Bo Bichette down to the minor leagues to get his game back? You know what? I'm going to give him 2 or 3, 4 more games, see what happens. I wouldn't send him down because he's an all-star. I would bench him, help him get his head right. Maybe let him get his swing back, make some extra batting practice. Vientos is a solid third baseman. Brett Beatty's a solid third baseman, so they could use those guys to take that position in the interim. But you can't pay this guy $136 million to go to the minors. That's ridiculous. So they got to do something. I don't know what they're gonna do. This may fall on the hitting coach. Who knows? Like, hey, how come this guy's hitting like dog? You know what? So there's a lot of trickle down dominoes to this. It's gonna go from Bichette to the hitting coach to the Mets. Met fans are crazy. Just like Yankee fans, just like Dodger fans. You have a small window. Your rope is like probably a couple of centimeters before they jump on you. But we shall see. What you got, Walt?
No, I totally agree. Mack?
Yeah, man. He you're right. Hey, I didn't anticipate, this is such a bigger market. I understand. Please be patient with me. No, we're not. You're not going to eat at a restaurant if you lose a game. Your kids are going to take the heat at school and playground. It's a different beast here, bro. You can't.
Different animal.
You could do that in Toronto. You can be having a bad game and they'll be like, it's okay, Bo. We got you. Now, New York, we paid you, dude. Get your life right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the boom will continue, man. You can't do that.
Goodness. Mack is back now. I think the jet glad's finally kicking out. All right, we're going to the hoops. We're going to hoops, and we're talking about the Boston Celtics. Why are we talking about Boston Celtics? Because they're headed back to the playoffs thanks to another 50-win season. And quote-unquote Jaylen Brown starting to chirp. Not too bad for a gap year. And he poked fun the people who doubted him after Jason Tatum got hurt. Now he's starting to chirp that this is the team. I will start by saying, Jaylen, I think you should keep your mouth shut. You got to remember there's a big kryptonite called the New York Knicks that you, for some reason, cannot beat, just like the Knicks can't beat Detroit. I wouldn't start chirping this early. The playoffs have not started. There's still a bunch of games left. That's a comment that a rookie makes. Jaylen Brown's an all-star. He's definitely a candidate. I'm not saying he is, but he's a candidate for MVP. So I don't know why he's chirping like this, but Celtic fans, you backing up your guy, but I don't know what you're doing. Mack, what do you think about him starting this chirpy?
Man, this is the same thing like New York. Bro, know your lane. Boston has a legacy of winning. The machine is running. I hope this does not turn into an AJ Brown situation where running your mouth's going to get you run out of town. The man is talented. I understand why this guy over here was gone for the end of the season, beginning of the season. He just came back. Believe me when I tell you, they would have every reason to be a hot mess in March, but they're not. He was able to hold the team together. He is making a valid point to say this was my team. Tatum came back. He is going to plug in and get us where we need to go, but this was my team all season. I think he's entitled to make a comment or two, but it can't be to the detriment of the team and cause cancer in the locker room like AJ Brown's doing, who will be gone by he'll be gone by June 1st, trade line deadline.
All right. Well, I mean, Mack Abdul-Jabbar just brought up some very good points. So, what do you think of what he said?
Look, I understand why Brown said that, because people did write them off because Tatum got hurt in the playoffs last season. Yeah, was Achilles, and they were like, "Hey, they're not going to do anything this year because Tatum's gone." And so that was all in the tabloids and in the papers and online or whatever and all over social media. And so Brown's like, "Okay, say less." And so he went out. He's been doing his thing. The team has rallied behind him because look, they still had the core team that took him to the championship and won the chip a couple of years ago is still pretty much there outside of Porzingis, right? Mm-hmm. He's out in Golden State right now. So aside from that, they still had their core group except for Tatum. And they were able to compete and win against the current competition that's in the Eastern Conference. So kudos to Brown. Brown was just like, hey, for all the haters, he was just announcing it. For all the haters, I got receipts. I got Ray's receipts right here for you. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's what he was saying. He would just pull up the receipts. Brown's not that guy that's gonna like he'll chirp. He's team guy first. He's not gonna do anything. You don't hear anything about him in the news for anything that he's done wrong or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, Brown, go ahead and speak your truth, man. It's all good.
Yeah. I give him all his flowers for Mack's point and to your point. I would have never guessed that Boston would be a 50-win team this year without Tatum. So kudos to him. I always knew Jaylen Brown was that dude. I knew he was good like that. Again, like I said, until I see you dominate New York, which you haven't, I would keep the chirping a little to a minimum. He deserves all his accolades. He deserves all his props. But like, dude, like there's a big, big, big block of kryptonite. For those who don't know Superman, that was his item that wilted his powers. That's Boston's kryptonite. But we shall say, sticking to hoop, we're talking about the person that Walt doesn't like to talk about. Luka Mania, baby. 6 straight games, 30 points on fire in fuego. He is not playing tonight because unfortunately he got his cystic technical, which is uncalled for. And I think the refs are just hating on him. They didn't want him to break Michael Jordan's 6-game, 30-point game because he would have broke it and gotten 7. So this is news because he would have gotten that record. Luka is closer now to MVP than he was a week ago. I'm going to go to Mack first because I know Walt is building up all that hate. So what do you think of Ozempic Luka? 30 points, 6 straight games, getting suspended, not be able to break the record tonight. Thoughts, Mack? What you got?
All right. America, we all noticed the logo in our background is purple and yellow. If you haven't noticed, the Race Sports and Slams logo is purple and yellow. Let's go out on a limb here. Who's this guy's favorite team is? Let me guess. Houston? No, it's the Lakers, America. We will always talk about the Lakers on this show. We will always talk about Dallas. But all jokes aside, if the Lakers aren't in the news in reference, the NBA does not have what's called disparity. They are a franchise where no news is good news, but when you talk about them, it's news that makes ESPN. So the fact that Luka's not playing tonight, I mean, he made some bad choices. Like okay, you guys didn't touch on this last week, but I will say it here. If a player, his job is to get under your skin, and he does his job, and then you go too far, your contract says you should be able to keep your composure. But he's talking about his mom, his dad, his sister. I don't care who he's talking about. We are paying you money to remain calm under pressure. No need to act ill. Listen when I tell you, boy, he should have chilled, or this suspension would not have happened. He was defending about, I don't care what he was doing. The bottom line is we pay you too much money. Walt, the best ability is what? Availability. Exactly. Now he can't break the record because he's not playing Ray. He can't keep his composure together, and someone did their job and got under his skin.
I thought Walt was a hater. I thought Walt was a hater. I'm sorry. I'm
not a hater. I'm just saying they're paying you too much money to remain calm, and he couldn't do that.
All right, Walt, what you got?
Mack hit this out of the ballpark. I got to give you kudos on this, man. Like, you're absolutely right. Luka, he's a dynamic player. The Lakers have been on a run as of late. These guys are looking like contenders now. I think they've found their stride. Look, get it out of the way. Luka, you got suspended. You can get some rest because I know he's been dinged up here or there. Take this break off and then pop off in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, come back with a vengeance. Because Luka, he talks his junk, right? He talks his smack, and so that's why he got 16 texts, Ray, because he talks trash. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God! If anybody should stop chirping, it should have been. You said that's for Brown. But it should have been Luka. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right, Mack. I'm gonna ask you. You're a family man. Someone's talking junk about your daughter on the court, dude.
Last week,
you're not going to be quiet. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I know you too long.
Him too much money not to keep his composure. They pay him too much. Listen, trash talk is a part of the game.
So I'm asking you,
know it.
You're
Gary
getting paid,
Payton,
and I am talking horrendous stuff about your kids. You're letting it go. What you got?
best ability is what, Walt?
Availability.
So you're letting it go.
So hold on. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, was he ever suspended like for a game for like 16 techs? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
God,
But
here
like
we go.
people used to come
Yeah.
for Jordan. People used to come at Jordan. And you know how he showed them, how he shut them up with his play. He would go out there and say, like, you know what? You talking junk? Let me go. And then he would come back to him and be like, hey, remember all that stuff you were talking? Shut up.
Well, that's not entirely true, sir. There were players who knew you don't talk trash to Mike for him to go off for 60.
Yeah, they were scared to go off.
They were fear of Mike. Like, listen, he goes, listen, don't piss this guy off, or he's gonna let him just, hey, Mike, good job, bro. Don't make him mad because he's gonna go off. All he needs is a little to spark him. He always looked for a competitive edge, but majority of the league and the players back then was like, if Mike is pissed off, he's gonna go for 60 and we're gonna lose. Like that was kind of like you look up reels, brother, to take a look. I mean, you're right. The man was, everyone talked trash in the league. Gary Payton was legendary for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Dennis Rodman would just make you mad, but if he could do that to get you off your game, why not? Look what happened to your boy Luka. He's not playing. Someone got him off his game.
Again, you didn't answer my question. Someone is talking smack about your kids in the game. Are you letting that go?
Of course.
Sticks and stones cannot break my bones. Can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I will not lose my money for not playing. He is losing money because of it. I will eat these words and I'll show them by my play. I'm going to try and dunk all over your face and then look at you and then be like, now what? That's better than being in someone's face and getting a technical. Just play harder and slam all over their face.
All right. We're going to the final buzzer. You guys are crazy. This is where you can ask us a little bit of anything about anything. What you got for us? How about those Nuggets 6-game winning streak? Hey, Joker is the truth. So I have no problem giving him his love.
Murray, he's been killing.
Eric Alone. How much trash talk alone on Ruthless Battle Khan? You talked about
was in the 90s.
No one that started up MJ.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't give MJ trash because they were scared. They didn't give Kobe a lot of trash. They were scared. I get it. You're really scared of Luka, and they weren't talking stuff about his family, dude. You guys are still hiding. I think there's a line between insulting someone's family and saying you stink, Walt. You're a terrible player. I'm talking about your mom. I'm talking about your lady, dude. You're not gonna be like, oh, okay, thank you so much. Can I have some more? No, dude, stop.
That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying.
$5 million. Mack doesn't play.
But he doesn't.
Exactly. That's right, E. This is my livelihood. Bro, okay, let me ask you this, Ray.
Yeah.
If you get into one more spat on the court, we are removing you from the league, Ray. Watch your mouth and your attitude. And then this game happens. Are you going to go home and tell your wife, sorry, babe, I had to defend your honor. Now I'm not getting paid anymore to play?
Okay. I wouldn't have gotten to 16. I wouldn't have gotten to 16 technical, so that's the point.
All I'm saying is your money matters.
There's a thin line between personal insults and using racial slurs, homophobic slurs. When those things happen, it should be up to the refs and security people to throw those out. Anything else, I think players should keep their cool. I agree with you, Tom. I know Tom's got a young boy, and I know if someone talked junk about your son, you would defend him too. It's easier said than done. I have 2 girls. You talk about my girls, it's going to get personal. I would hope
don't get me wrong.
I can control myself, but I don't know. Like you could say anything about me personally. It's when you get personal with your family, dude. I think that's where I draw the line.
I'll give you another quick example.
Coach, all right, go ahead.
All right, real quick. Number 42, Jackie Robinson, played at a time where he knew if he didn't take the heat or take the abuse of the words, his life wasn't there. I mean, that's super extreme, but the point I'm making is that the man knew these are words and I can either let them affect me or not, and he chose not to. He ignored the noise and played great baseball. He proved himself on the diamond versus giving into hate and bigotry.
All right, you got a point.
You know what I mean? A lesson for these guys.
Last comment. Which of these women coaches would you like to get an opportunity to coach the NBA one day. Becky Hammer, Kim Mulkey, Donna Staley. Plus, Walt, do you see college agents making $21 million 2 years? Oh, he's asking Walt a direct question.
Yeah. So look, I'll answer that really quick. Yeah, eventually. Right now, Arch Manning is making almost $7 million a year. So yeah, as the sport continues to grow and they get more sponsorships, absolutely, these college athletes are going to be raking in the dough.
Yes. And which coach would you pick?
I think all these are great coaches. So I'd be excited for any one of them to get a shot, if not all three. I think they definitely should. We should definitely see it.
He's putting you to the fire. He's telling you to pick one.
Oh, I would go with Don Staley.
So would I. I like Don Staley's game. Mack?
I'm gonna go Becky. Don Staley is the obvious answer just because right now she's winning. I think Becky Hammond deserves an opportunity. Let us keep in mind, Max facts, the Spurs did have a female as a head coach. Mind you, it's only one game. However, she did make her debut when what's their legendary coach with the Spurs? Popovich, yeah, and she was a head coach for one game, mind you. So yeah, there is opportunity to grow. It will happen. I do believe it will happen. I
agree. All right. That's a wrap, folks. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm going to let you say your parting shots. Walt, you go first. What you got? What you want to say?
Man, this is a great show. We killed it again, guys. For the fans, the listeners, supporters, thank you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We would not be here without you, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Mac.
You got it, my friend. Stay in the studio. All right, Mac, I'm glad you're back. It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah.
Say your parting shots and let it rip, brother.
No problem at all. First of all, I want to say thank y'all. I was gone for one time and could not wait to be back. I want to give a special shout out to Valerie Garvin, who is a travel agent. So if you have needs for travel through and teletravel, give her a shout out. DM me. I'll give you personal information. I love my folks. I love my team here. So Boink Studios, continue to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, brother. All right. That wraps it up. Another edition of Ray Sports and Slams. I thank my guys, Walt and Mac. We're back at it again. We will be back Monday again at 6. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the love. I love all the new listeners. I love all the support. We would be nowhere without you guys, so don't think it doesn't go unappreciative. You guys are the reason we are where we are. So, again, much love to everybody. Have a good week. Enjoy your Easter, and we will see you on Monday.